Hey guys, Craig from Yard to Table Creations here. We're going to talk a little bit about how to properly connect your PVC and hook up your irrigation. If you haven't seen our videos from the past to see how we got to this step, go ahead and check them all out. But right now we're just going to show you about how to make some proper connections. So we're going to use a little piece from our manifold. None of this has been glued together yet. As we did in the past video, we dry fitted everything to make sure it all worked. We know we have all our pieces, so now we're going to start gluing them together because once they're glued, they're there forever. A couple things to note before you get started. Number one, you see we have this old piece of cardboard here. It's because this stuff is messy. I don't wear gloves, but you may want to, because no matter how hard you try or how good your intentions are, you are going to get this stuff all over the place. So remember that it stains, it is glue, it dries very fast, so just take some steps if you don't want it all over your concrete. First things first, we have our dry fit pieces. We know they all fit, but as you can see next to us, plumbing is not a clean project all the time. And one important thing about getting a good seal is making sure that everything is clean. So we look inside, no debris, outside's pretty clean, so we're good there. Next step is primer. Primer is a step that a lot of people often skip, and it can often lead to problems later, bad connections and leaks. The purpose of this primer is to actually help prep the surface of this for the glue, make a tighter fit once we're actually fitted into our fitting with the red hot blue glue. So, again, stuff is a little bit messy. This is a solvent that's going to help texture the surface of the PVC. We're going to apply some there. We're going to apply some there. Next step, stuff dries very, very quickly. A little bit of glue in the middle here. A little bit of glue on the outside. Now when you put these connections in, make sure you try and get at least a quarter turn. That's going to ensure that the glue has spread evenly all the way around the contact surface, and will make sure that you have a good tight seal. After about a minute, this is going to be pretty hard to pull apart. I would not recommend putting any water pressure through this for 24 hours after making your connections. All right, so once we get the manifold all glued together, we want to start looking at getting the rest of the bones of the irrigation system put together so that we can then move on to our ends. As you can see, part of our planning process, and if you didn't see the planning video, go back and check it out, is that we've laid everything out so that we can more or less see where our PVC is gonna go, make sure we have enough, make sure we're not missing any pieces, which in this case we actually were. So we had to go back and get a few more. Now it's time to put it together. You can see it's all in the dirt. And as I mentioned with the manifold, cleanliness is really important. So it's good to keep a damp rag on you. You're gonna take your pieces. We're gonna make sure that one, there's no debris on the inside, because that is eventually going to end up either stuck in our manifold or stuck in our sprinkler bodies. We wanna wipe this down with our damp rag, make sure that we get any debris out of there. And then we need to keep it clean while we work on the other end. Same thing. Work our debris out, clean this off, clean that. Now we have two clean surfaces. And we have our clean coupler. So first things first is primer. Let's find a place to set this guy. Let's get our primer. Just work from one side, then to the other. So one side there, and our primer here. A little glue there, a little glue there, and together. One more time, just since we have everything clean, let's make sure we put it together, not give it a chance to get dirty again. Primer here. A little glue, make sure you go all the way around and inside. Don't skip these small steps. They may seem unimportant, but they're actually quite important to a good fit. And a quarter turn. Once we're there, we're connected. Again, we don't want to run any water pressure through that for at least 24 hours, but cleanliness, primer, then your glue, then a quarter turn. If you follow all of those steps, you should get a nice tight seal in your PVC. All right, so next we're gonna take a look at some different connections. We're gonna look at how to hook up to drip and also how to hook up some sprinkler bodies. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook this PVC up to this 1/2-inch poly drip line. So this drip line is running to different aspects of the garden. In this case, this line here is going to be watering this section. So what we have here is we have a 90 and we have a compression fitting. So this fitting is what this tube is going to compress into and connect. This we're going to glue to here first. These are both new parts, nice and shiny and clean. Do a little bit of primer. Primer there. Okay, so now that we have our compression fitting fitted, the next step is to connect this to here. Now this connection is about the easiest connection you can make. It is as simple as putting this into your compression fitting. Once we get that in there nice and snug, wiggle it around, make sure it goes in at least a ½ inch or so. Once we're there, it's tight. That is how you connect your PVC to your drip lines. So now we're going to talk about hooking up some pop-up sprinklers. This area is eventually going to be the lawn. So we're going to need some overhead pop-ups to water our lawn. So we're going to show you how to hook that up. First, again, clean pieces. We're going to prime and glue, trying not to make a giant mess all the way through. Alrighty. Okay, so now we've got our 90, which has a ½ inch thread. All sprinkler pop-up bodies for residential use, for the most part, always there are exceptions, but for the most part, they're going to be ½ inch. So we're going from 3/4 to ½ inch. So what we have here is a 3/4 90 that turns to a ½ inch threaded fitting. Now, we're going to use this. This is called a nipple. This is just a connector piece. It's a coupler. It's important to use this Teflon tape. Do not skip this step. Plastic is not perfect, and oftentimes there will be slight changes and gaps and you will get leaks. Make sure you go 3 times around on every threaded fitting. So first we're going to put this into here. And then we're going to place the other end into our 90. And then this, when installed, this part here will actually be at ground level, so that if you take a mower, you can run over it and you're not going to hurt your plumbing. Put this down, and when the pressure is on and this valve comes on, this is actually going to pop up. We've all seen how sprinklers work. It's going to water your lawn for the set time, and then it's going to go back down when the water pressure is reduced. That is how you hook up a sprinkler body. So now you've seen how to hook up the drip to the PVC. You've seen how to hook up a sprinkler body. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through using all of our good habits. Make sure it's clean, make sure you use the primer, make sure you use the glue, make sure you give it a 1/4 turn to spread that glue out. We're going to do that to all the rest of the connections that we need. It's going to take us a couple hours. Once we're done, we're going to let that glue set. We're going to let it set overnight until tomorrow. Tomorrow, before we fill any of our trenches, we want to give it a pressure test for obvious reasons. We want to make sure we don't have any leaks, any cracks, or the most common mistake is that somebody just forgot to glue one joint. You'll find that out the hard way when it comes apart. You can go and fix it. Once you have your pressure test done, then you can go in and fill in your trenches. You guys know where to find me if you need any help. I'm Craig with Yard to Table Creations. You can find me at yardtotablecreations.com.